Hi everybody, this is Patricia Sheehan and you're very welcome to my Reiki blog. This week I'm going to talk about Reiki, my story, and what do you value? You'll find yourself in this story. You'll also find that you will see all the different areas that you can bring Reiki into. So as my journey started when I was 14, my dad brought myself and my two older sisters off to learn meditation. We did a 6-week course and I meditated all the way throughout my teens. I enjoyed getting to no thought and that point of stillness. But I kind of felt there had to be something more than just stillness and no thought. Then in my 20s, I did a lot of mind development work. I was looking just to bring myself to another level of something. I didn't really know what. However, at the same time I started skydiving. I was on 2 world records. I was on the Irish team for 7 years and I captained it for 2 years, and it was all men except for myself. So I achieved a lot and really loved all that I did with that, and all the mind development and the fact that I could go to stillness helped with all of that. But I was still looking for something, and yet I didn't know what I was looking for. And then in my 30s, our third child was born, and he was born screaming and he cried for 15 months. He would go to sleep, he would cry. He would wake up, he would cry. He would eat, he would cry. There was times at 4 hours at a stint he would cry. I knew there was something that I was to find. Again, I didn't know what. At 12 months, we brought him to an osteopath, and the osteopath said that all of his innards, his stomach area, was really tight, and around his head was really tight. Now, there was nothing physically wrong with the baby, nothing at all. So he was medically healthy. However, they said he had, from the birth process, had just been compressed, and they said he'd been in awful pain for the last 12 months. So at one level, I was just so relieved that, okay, there was something, because I knew there was something there. And then every 2 weeks, I brought him back to the osteopath, and they subtly worked on his head and his stomach. But sometimes I'd arrive and he'd be crying, and they said they couldn't work on him when he was crying, so I went home again. So I used to, nights, and I'm sure lots of you have had experiences, where I sat up, because when he lay down he cried, so sat up going to sleep and saying there has to be something that I would find. So then in May 1998, I did a Reiki course. I did it more because I was totally stressed out. We were both working full time and we had 3 kids. And I said, maybe I'll have something that can just relax me, deal with life situations. And thought also that maybe I could work on the children. So I did my 2 days and I got connected to this energy and came away, and I was told, yes, I can use this. And one part of me says, well, now that's a little bit rich. For 2 days, we have to learn lots before we know anything. And I'd been away for 2 days and they said straight away, just start using it. So I did Reiki on myself every day, which meant I was just placing my hands on my body and closing my eyes. I didn't have any big experience like, oh, this is fantastic. All I felt relaxed. I did it on the baby, and I held his belly and I held his head, and he wasn't crying. But again, I wasn't saying, oh my God, this is it. It was just like he wasn't crying. After 2 weeks, I went back to the osteopath and they said everything had realigned itself. His stomach was relaxed. It's like the energy was just allowing him breathe. His head was relaxed. And I couldn't believe what had happened in those 2 weeks. And they said they didn't need to see him again. And within 3 months, when he was 18 months old, he has a smile from here to here and still has it. And it totally changed everything around his life. Now, it's likely when energy gets restricted that there can be a knock-on effect physically. And that's generally where a lot of physical conditions can happen, is where there's restriction or inflammation or stress on the body, and then it gets even worse. So we are blessed that we have it. As he says, I wouldn't be doing this job only for him, because he came in to my life, basically maybe to wake me up to that. So I continued working. I'm a chemist. I was working in the pharmaceutical industry, and I was continuing working, but doing Reiki on myself every day. And if the boys had coughs or colds, I would Reiki them, and they never got anything serious. So we were just maintaining health with this. I also used Reiki on my mum. She had a heart condition, and it really was calming. It helped her breathe. And then when she was very ill and near her time of death, it was like when you can't talk or can't explain or don't really understand what's going on, and you have the power of touch to be able to do Reiki. It was of huge, I suppose, peace for my mum as well as myself. She did die. However, being able to do Reiki in those times when you don't know what to do is just the most amazing thing that you can do. And my mum didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she wasn't overweight. So she didn't classify, she didn't eat cheese, she didn't classify for somebody who should have a heart condition. Heart energy is all to do with love, with nurture, with living your life to your highest self. When I left that hospital and the world actually didn't stop, I said, I committed that I would actually make choices that were always in line in my heart. And within a year, I resigned from 20 years in the pharmaceutical industry, and I decided we all need to be looking after our body in a different way. So I started teaching in 2002. I've been teaching people full-time how to look after their energy. And people are actually amazing what they have done with this. And just to give you one little science aspect of energy, we all have an energy field around us. We don't see it just in the common eye. However, so there is an electroencephalograph, and it actually measures the biomagnetic field around the body. And when people are operating normally, it resonates at 200 cycles per second, or 200 hertz. They have shown that when people practice Reiki, this goes up to between 400 and 800 hertz. So the biomagnetic field around the body increases. A higher biomagnetic field allows for more vital energy to feed the cells in the body. And this is what maintains the health in our body. I've worked with lots of different people. I've taught lots of different people. One particular person that comes to mind, she had asthma, and she came to do Reiki 1, more just for stress. But she couldn't believe when she went home, it was only 5 months later, she says, I actually haven't had her inhaler since she started Reiki, because she placed her hands on her chest, on her head. She says she was relaxed, she was breathing, she didn't get as upset with things around the house, and she just didn't find the need. There was another guy who came, and he had premature rheumatoid arthritis and was in awful pain. But after Reiki 1 started to alleviate his pain, and then he could walk again. And with the walking, that actually helped him. And after 2 years, where he had a diagnosis that this was forever, this condition, all his blood counts have gone back to normal, and he doesn't have the condition. So there's huge potential. So all I can say is Reiki helps in lots of different areas. It's an energy that's deep within you and just needs to be activated. So if you'd like to learn more, go to my website. If you think you'd like to learn for yourself or somebody else, my vision is that there'd be one person in every family that would have Reiki to maintain the health in your family. So take the step and have a happy, energetic, bright week.